Yo, 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 yo. Yo, yo. What's good with it? It's the homie Mac. Music, art, culture, knowledge. Each one teach one, peace and love. Reporting live from the Dogon. Yeah, real quick. This is a session of Mac Minutes. You know how we do over here. Mac Minutes, reporting live from the Dogon. Thumbs up, give me the likes. Thumbs up, give me the likes. Real quick, if you have yet to do so, subscribe to the YouTube channel 82 Kings. It's real. It's up over here. It's up, man. Yeah, I know you guys noticed probably the white coat that you see on the chair. This is my mother's, as you know. Well, some of you guys know. My mother was a medical doctor. Her name was Dr. Dorothy Jean Salas Stewart. My mother passed last week, and I pay homage. I venerate my mother through wearing her white coat. So, love you, Mom. Till we meet again, Queen. Salute. So yeah, from now on, get used to seeing this white coat here. Yeah, but let's get to it. Mac Minutes. It's a lot going on right now. But specifically, as always, there's always a lot going on. But specifically, I want to talk about Antisemitism, Kyrie Irving, just different things going on in that regard, in that context. That's the hot topic right now. So yeah, I want to give context. I have a degree in history and public policy. I went to Georgia State, graduated in 2010. In order to graduate, I had to write a 35-page paper on German nationalism. In doing so, I was able to find out a lot of things about the Holocaust, which started in 1933. I was able to learn a lot about the Nazi Party, German philosophers. I also learned a lot of things specifically about the Jews and how they were persecuted. Actually learned about anti-Semitism and Semitism in general. I think it's really interesting. Before I go there, I just want to say I do believe that the Holocaust actually happened. I do believe that there were Jews that were persecuted. I do believe that the Holocaust itself was a crime against humanity. And while I was at Georgia State, I was able to actually see a man who survived the Holocaust, and he spoke to my class. I cannot remember this gentleman's name. I'm sorry. But the speech he gave was very poignant. Had a lot of people in there crying. I got a little misty-eyed myself, I must admit, just hearing about the torture of human life. And one of the things he talked about was like how, within the concentration camps, you had children who would actually pretend like they were superstars, movie stars, and act like they were in films to distract them from the death and the destruction that was around them. And I even remember before that reading Anne Frank, and just hearing about the persecution that she incurred and all Jewish people. And I want to say this to give context that I'm not the angry black guy that hates Jews, or is even anti-Semitic. I just want to talk about, in context, being black and some of the things that I feel in regards to this anti-Semitism conversation. I think, I want to first say, in learning about the Nazis, I learned that, they had the different concentration camps. Infamously, I think Auschwitz was the most infamous. I learned about Heinrich Himmler, who was actually the, what was he? He was the Reichsführer in the SS Army. The SS Army was basically a special group of fighters within the Nazi Party. You also had a guy named Reinhard Heydrich. He was also known as the Blonde Beast. The things that him and Himmler did were just extremely humane, unfathomably humane. The way that it was just like a joke. It was a game to just destroy people, to torture people. Then I also learned about the Juderant, who were basically Jews that worked in service to Hitler. and would actually go as far to turn in other Jews, like act like, oh yeah, come to my house and eat dinner. Then you get there and they're Nazis waiting for you. You know, learning about gas chambers, just learning about in great detail. I have an education in just a crime against humanity and the things that had befallen the Jewish people. Now, as far I know, some people will say, some people may be watching this and be thinking, those weren't the real Jews. We're the real Jews. I'm not. I'm still learning and growing in that context, because as I've gotten older, I've realized there are a whole spectrum of people who consider themselves to be Jewish. You have the Falasha Jews. You got the Ashkenazi Jews. You have what else? You have Beta Israel, which are a group of Ethiopians who lay claim to Jewish heritage through Queen of Sheba, because Queen of Sheba had a child with King Solomon. You know, King Solomon is of the tribe of Judah, King David's bloodline. But that's a whole nother conversation. I guess let's talk about, like, what exactly is Semitism? Semitism is to speak to the culture and heritage of Jewish people as well as Arab people. And let me, just so I can corroborate this is from the Oxford Language Dictionary. A Semite is a member of any of the peoples who speak or spoke a Semitic language, including in particular the Jews and Arabs. Okay, what is anti-Semitism? Oxford Language Dictionary. To be anti-Semitic is to be hostile or prejudiced against Jewish people. The thing that's kind of interesting to me is, first off, a Semite speaks the language. And we know that language is not necessarily relegated to a race. I mean, you have people in the Dominican Republic who speak Spanish. You have people in Spain that speak Spanish. And you have people in Mexico that speak Spanish. So language, to me, transcends race. And it's interesting how they say, including in particular the Jews and Arabs. So when you say in particular, it makes me think there could be others. But I think, and that's in reference to Semite. And when I say there could be others, meaning other racial groups. Because you say in particular, which doesn't make, it just makes me feel like there's a spectrum, in my estimation. And then when you talk about anti-Semitism, it's specifically hostile or prejudiced against Jewish people. So the part that's kind of interesting to me is how to be a Semite is is more broad, but to be anti-Semitic is more narrow. And to say that anti-Semitism is only to be anti-Jew or hostile towards Jews, whereas to be a Semite, there's more of a spectrum. You could be Jew or Arab or of a Semitic-speaking tongue. So I feel like that's a broader context. I think that's very interesting. I want to talk about Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving posted a link to a video on Amazon called Hebrews and Negroes. Like I said earlier, there's a spectrum as far as who is and isn't a Jew. Or who, no, I'm not going to say who isn't, who are Jews. And there are black people who feel like they are Hebrew, who feel like they are Jews, that they feel like they are of the tribe of Judah, that they are of the 12 tribes. I don't want to get too deep into that, but one thing I do know of Kyrie has said that he is an omnist. And someone who is is it omnist? Yeah, omnist. I'm sorry, omnist. An omnist, by definition, is a person who believes in all faiths or creeds, or a person who believes in a single transcendent purpose or cause uniting all things or people, or the members of a particular group of people. So to be an omnist pretty much is you try to find how all things interconnect and how there's this transcendent truth that connects all these things. So with that being said, I think to figure yourself to be an omnist, you can't be an omnist and a racist or full of hate, because you really see how all life is interconnected and that there's a transcendent truth that interlinks all of us. I feel like Kyrie just wanted to have a conversation. I think anti-Semitism has become like a catch. It's like a political slogan. If somebody asks any questions or tries to show a different narrative or tries to investigate, it's just labeled as anti-Semitic. Oh, you're an anti-Semite. Semite. You're anti-Semitic. And my thing is like, no, let's have these conversations. Let's, Hegel had Hegelian dialectics, how you had the thesis, the antithesis, and the synthesis. So the thesis could be our understanding. The antithesis could be an opposing view. And these things can collide, we can question, and we can grow and have a synthesis. So hey, let's learn, let's have this conversation. Who are the real Jews? What's Semitic? What's anti-Semitic? Let's love on each other and educate one another. Let's not condemn each other, and put each other in a hole or just label each other with these titles. Let's actually try to hear one another out and grow. I understand this is a very sensitive topic. I mean, you're talking about culture, you're talking about race, you're talking about people, you're talking about people having pride in who they are. And I understand that. I just feel like sometimes there are people that want a particular truth. It's Galatians 4:16. It says, have I become your enemy now because I tell you the truth? And I think right now, there are certain truths and realities that we want now so more than ever. And I think instead of having the conversations, these tough conversations, to reach some type of synthesis or understanding, we don't like the idea of our truth being compromised. We don't like the idea that what we may actually think is true is not true. Because these things would make us confront ourselves and look inward, and it would question our worldview. People don't like that. It's like Friedrich Nietzsche said, people don't like the truth because often they don't want their illusions destroyed. I guess ultimately, even with confronting the truth, a level of cognitive dissonance a high level of cognitive dissonance can emerge because you're forced to look in the mirror and be like, whoa, maybe I'm not who I thought I was. Maybe what I thought was true actually wasn't true, and I have to regroup and rewire myself. It's not easy, especially if it was the bedrock and foundation of your thinking. One of the things I want to talk about briefly is just how when there's no room to have truthful conversations, it allows lies and and falsehood to erode, and any lie told long enough unchecked becomes a truth. And one of the things in particular, I know with the Nazi Party, the Nazi Party actually. They took Friedrich Nietzsche's Übermensch theory, or the Superman, and they totally misappropriated it to fit their agenda. And when you're not having honest conversations, it breeds grounds for lies. And they literally repurposed the Übermensch theory. The Überman was supposed to be a man, being a Superman, a man that overcomes his lower desires. But the Nazi Party repurposed the term Überman and repurposed it to mean a racial thing. That white people, blonde hair, blue eye, the Aryans were the pure race, the superior race, the super race, the Ubermen in the flesh. So I just wanted to point that out. If we don't have these honest conversations and try to find the truth collectively, it's a breeding ground for lies to just permeate. Back to Kyrie, I think he pointed out a lot of the same things that Ye was pointing out. Just basically how, I don't even want to say that. What I want to say is I don't think that he was trying to be divisive. I feel like he just wanted to speak on the documentary or post it so people can research. Matter of fact, everybody that's condemning it, for the most part, they've never seen the film. From what I've seen, they've never seen the film. They don't even know what the film is about. They just heard anti-Semitic. Oh, it's anti-Semitic. Let's run with it. But no one's had any honest conversations about it. Now, as far as Ye, I want to talk about Ye briefly. I feel like he simply was saying, look, there are a lot of Jewish people who are gatekeepers to black culture. There are a lot of Jewish people who are gatekeepers specifically to hip hop culture, and that there are a lot of black voices are work at the behest of a lot of Jewish people with a lot of money, resources, and power. Ye even took it a step further to say, look, I'm jealous of Jewish people. I'm jealous of how their business practices. I'm jealous of how they don't abort their babies. I'm jealous of how they don't leave their wives. I'm jealous that they've been able to make an infrastructure and a culture to build their own people. Nobody is mad at Jewish people for doing that. Nobody is mad at Jewish people for being self-determined. As a black man, African-American, ADOS, all I'm saying, and I stand with Ye in this regard, Liar Cohen said that it's opportunistic. He knows that the music that's being sold is destructive. The black culture, the way that it's represented in pop culture is very anti-black, it's very destructive, it's genocidal. He acknowledges that. And this is a Jewish man that makes money off of black trauma. So all black people, all we're saying is this. As Jewish people, as members of the human family, you have an obligation, a cultural and social responsibility to not promote genocide. And I would even take it a step further. Us as black people, we need to stop supporting the bullshit. We need to stop buying and supporting things that misrepresent who we are. You know, we need to stop creating the music that is genocidal. And I know that may make people feel a certain kind of way, but that's just the reality of it. Black culture, the essence of who we are as black people is sorely misrepresented. You know, and there are so many people outside of our culture, not only Jewish people, but there are people outside of our culture that make a living off our own misrepresentation and destruction. You know, I'm not anti-Jewish people. I'm not anti-anyone. I'm only anti-people who want to be cause confusion and promulgate death culture. That's what I'm anti. I'm anti people who are anti-me and my people as well. Anyone who's anti-humanity is anti-me. And I guess my thing is it frustrates me because I feel like when black people are trying to control our narrative, we get met with so much scorn. We're reverse racists. We're full of hate. And it's like, that's crazy. I think I remember reading how Suge Knight, Irv Gotti, and Master P wanted to get together, put their money and resources together, and create a distribution, an institution for musical distribution that was black owned. A lot of Jews didn't like that. A lot of wealthy people who were white or non-Jew, they didn't like it because they felt like it was going to cut into their profit margin. You know, so I think we need to have honest conversations like, look, what is this really all about? And what I see is all about money and power. Money, power, and greed. You know, and I just wish instead of the easiest thing to do is, oh, he's